Cammy, good to see you, mate. How does it feel, first of all? You're in Qatar for a World Cup with the Socceroos. This is everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah, even yourself just saying that is still pretty mad, to be honest. Obviously, like I've said many times, a dream come true for not only myself, but I think everyone. I can speak on behalf of all the boys that are in camp. Absolutely loving it, and yeah, it feels unreal. Just being in and around it, and yeah, now that I'm here is just unreal, mate.
Have you been lobbying Arnie for a gig against France? I mean, I think he said on that phone call to you that he wanted the mongrel in you to be unleashed at this World Cup. There's plenty of that, obviously, for anyone who's watched you play for Hearts. I mean, how badly do you want to get out there and get in their faces?
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty keen to get a run. Obviously, if you yeah, like you've said, if you've watched me play, you see the sort of person and player I am. I like to get in people's faces, and yeah, I'm just someone that will give 100% every game, and I think Arnie knows how badly I'd love to get a run, and I'll just do everything in my power on the training pitch and in and around camp to make that possible.
Hey Cam, Clint from Channel 9. Take us to that phone call, if you can. Like, you were very emotional. Like, what was sort of going through your mind? You could hardly believe it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it was a very nerve-wracking and stressful few weeks building up into to obviously the date when we knew we were going to find out, or in and around it, and yeah, just obviously trying to play for Hearts, but play as well as I can to obviously give myself the best chance to be up for selection. And yeah, when the day came on, he sent me a text saying, "Can I give you a call in 15 minutes?" And I think I replied within 5 seconds, and that 15 minutes felt like it went on for days. But yeah, when he told me, it was just probably the best feeling I've had in my whole life, to be honest. And yeah, as you could all hear, not that I knew that was happening, but as you could all hear, the emotions came running out. And yeah, I think it's pretty fair enough when you get caught up for a World Cup. It's a dream I've had since I first started playing. So yeah.
And who do you think of in the days leading up to what could potentially be an incredible debut on the world stage?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is my family is probably the biggest influence of my whole life. My mum and dad and my 3 brothers and my little sister are super close family, and for me, being so far away from them now, I only get to really see them over FaceTime. So doing all of this is kind of just to try and make my family proud, and obviously they follow me every step of the way and feel as a part of it as I do, and I feel like when I get successes like this, it feels like it's theirs as well, and yeah, just love doing it for them and making them proud.
Cammy, Joey Lynch from ESPN, congratulations on
you,
making the squad. You talk about being a fighter on the pitch, but throughout your journey, you've left Sydney in search of game time, you had to fight for minutes at the Phoenix, and then you played a part in their turnaround, then off to Hearts by way of Newcastle, albeit not really. Just what's your journey been like? What's kept you going and kept you fighting throughout your journey? Because it's been a winding one.
Yeah, it's I think every player has their own individual journey and battles along the way, and obviously my ones, I had injuries when I went through the youth teams at the Wanderers and Sydney FC, and I just had to bide my time a little bit longer than maybe some of my mates growing up did. And I spoke to Adam last week, and my main thing that I said to him was my thing that I always would tell younger players is to just never give up on your dreams, even when times are tough. That's when you kind of learn more about yourself, and the ones that I think really want it through tough times, that's when they work harder and come out the other side. And obviously I had to go to Wellington to get more minutes in the A-League, and my thought as I was growing up was always I wanted to make a name for myself or have a couple seasons under my belt in the A-League before I went on to other things, such as lucky enough to be at Hearts now, and yeah, just to be there now, living my dream overseas, playing football every weekend. And looking back on my journey was a difficult one, but obviously everything I took going to Wellington, being at Sydney FC was all very worth it.
And Mitch touched on it a bit yesterday as well, the fighting spirit you'll need against France, the reigning world champions, depth or subterranean levels of depth. What's the messaging from Arnie been in the lead up to that game? What qualities does he want you and the boys to espouse?
I think as Australians, one of the biggest things we possess going into these games, obviously, is an underdog, which we wear that tag, is that fighting spirit, and having that belief that we go into the game with a game plan, and that game plan that we have is to go out there and win. And I think a big thing for us is to have that fighting spirit. Obviously, we've got all the boys in camp now, so the preparation and the talks and all the preparation for that game will start. But just that. I think Aussies have that fighting spirit in them, and that'll definitely need to come out of it against. It's no secret that France are a very, very good side.
Hey Cam, Tim's in camp now, officially, with you guys. I don't know how good your memory is, but 2014, you're back home in Australia, a hopeful. Can you remember the game, and it was the last goal that Australia, I think, scored from open play in the World Cup, Timmy's volley against the Netherlands. Did you badger the parents to let you stay up and watch it? I can't even remember what time it was in Australia. That's a standout moment for Tim. Firstly, that moment, and also having in camp for a player like yourself. What is it like?
Yeah, I definitely remember that moment. I remember sitting on my couch back home with my dad and my little brother, watching it. And I think from what I remember, Netherlands had just scored, and we'd off the kick-off long ball from McGowan. He'd reminded me of that one or two times, and obviously Timmy. I think it's probably no surprise to say that he's come up with something like that, because so many times he did that for our country, not only for the country but at club level as well. He's just a big game player, is how I would like to describe him. And obviously coming into camp and seeing him and just having a chat with him is unreal. And I spoke to him after training yesterday I think someone like me to pick his brain and have that opportunity to have him here and ask him questions, and if I can make myself a better player by listening to him, and I think I'd take every opportunity to do that. And first time I met him, he was in camp in Brisbane, but I didn't get a chance to speak to him. He was pretty busy. But first time I met him was yesterday, and I was straight up to him to ask him a few questions about just what he thinks, and he joined in training yesterday, so that was pretty cool to be up alongside him with the boots on, and legend for Australian sport. So just to be in and around him is super surreal.
G'day Cam. Has Timmy addressed the boys in the last couple of days, and if so, can you give us a bit of an insight into what he spoke about?
So I wasn't in camp when but I think all the boys have arrived in, like the whole squad's here now, so I think I wouldn't be surprised if he had a word with all of us. Obviously he's been to 4 World Cups, so it's nothing new to him to be in this environment, and I think he can look over it with a different perspective now. He's not a player, he's someone with a lot of experience, and can guide us through, being in pressure moments and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I took the time to ask him individually, like just a few things, and he's definitely here to help, and that's massive for all of us.
And also, mate, there's been a bit spoken about the sort of Scottish flavour in this squad, both the guys born there and playing there like yourself. Is there sort of similar traits in Scottish Australian football that you think suits the team and sort of we can use as a strength? Yeah,
definitely. I was just speaking to Zappers. There's 7 of us playing in the Scottish League, which is obviously unreal. I feel like playing over there now, after every game, there's an Aussie to chat to in every team, which is so good and makes you feel at home. And to have those boys in camp now at the World Cup is very good, and a credit to the Scottish League, to be honest, because I think it's a very competitive league, and obviously there's a lot of good players in and around it. I think this team the Scottish League is obviously super fast and super competitive, and a very strong league, and I think we just take those traits. We're here because of how we were playing at club level, so we just try and take those traits into the national team, and obviously if any of us get a game, then that's what we'll do.
I was going to ask a similar question, but I'll try and take a slightly different tack. Have you been welcomed by welcomed into the Scottish Brethren by the likes of Harry and Camo and the like? Do you feel like you're one of the Scottish brothers now?
I'm definitely just a straight up Aussie, but it's good having them. Just chatting to them. Obviously, Jason Cummings is lived in Edinburgh his whole life, so we were chatting about just places in Edinburgh. Obviously, I love living there, and just chatting to them about, and obviously Boyley's a bit of a rival over there, so trying to stay clear of him. But it's really good, mate, and having those boys just makes it all the more better.
And just on Boyley, I know we didn't see him at training yesterday. How if he is in doubt for the France game, how big a loss would he be for this team? Like, we know how much he brings to this team.
Yeah, obviously over the years, everyone can see what a big player he is. He does it week in, week out over in Scotland for Hibs, and he's a massive player for them, and takes that for his country, for Australia, and he'd be a massive loss, but I think he'll be all right. It's just precautionary. Obviously, we don't want to take risks. We've got the first game in a week, so just more of a precautionary thing. But if he wasn't to play, it'd be a massive loss.
Hello, I'm Edgar from Brazil. So wish you all the best and the Socceroos in this World Cup.
Thank you.
You mentioned that every player has its own journey, and we are now here making a story about different national teams in Qatar with players with different backgrounds and different heritage. And Australia is a remarkable example on this sense. And if you would be as kind, I would like to ask you about two players who has former refugees. I'm talking about our Maybew and Garen Quall. If you'd be as kind to share your thoughts about what it's like having guys like this on the squad. Thank you.
Yeah, unreal. Obviously, they're absolute legends, and like I said, everyone's got their own story. I've come from my background with my family, and they've obviously come from theirs, and a very difficult one, of course. So for them, I think it's massive to come from a very difficult upbringing and or their own sort of personal story to come in now and to be representing Australia, which is obviously a massive part to them, which has helped them shape them the person that they've become today. And now to be representing that country at a World Cup, I can imagine would be so special and means so much to them, because obviously it's helped them and their families, of course. So they're great blokes, and I can imagine for them this is very special as well.
Cammy, just wanted to ask you about the inner mongrel again. I think we had a chat about this last time we spoke on the phone, but I mean, it can be tough sometimes towing the line, I guess, when you're an aggressive player who you know goes out with the mindset that you do. You had the red card against Rangers recently. What was doing there, and I guess in your time in Scotland, like how have you dealt with, I guess, you know, the balance between being the player you naturally are and needing to pull it in at times so that you know the team doesn't get punished or that you don't do silly things?
Yeah, I think that one, of course, was probably a massive learning curve for me. I think I don't want to change the player I am. I think I've got to where I am today by being that, you know, having that side to my game, especially with my height. I think if I didn't have that side of my game, I definitely wouldn't be near where I am today. So it's not something I want to remove from my game, but obviously, yeah, I'm sure you've watched the video. It was probably one of the more silly things I've done on the pitch, and something I want to learn from. I think you've got to make mistakes to become a better player, and I've only had one yellow card this season, so that was a bit silly, but yeah, definitely something that I'd like to say I've learned from and become better from, to be honest.
Just, Cammy, following on from that, do you sort of relish getting under opponents' skin, like thinking you're coming up against Kylian Mbappe in this coming game? The bloke's been on FIFA covers, he's got more money than God. Do you relish the opportunity to get under his skin and, you know, really, not sure if I'm allowed to swear at a FIFA venue, pee him off, stuff like that?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if he'll be interested in anything I've got to say, but if I'm lucky enough to get the chance to play, I'll be doing everything in my power to not only put him off, but put every single one of them off. They've got quality all over the park, even their non-recognised, well, more non-recognised players are still playing at the biggest clubs in the world, so they've obviously got superstars everywhere, and we'll be having a game plan to go at them with what obviously the coaching staff set up for us, and if I'm lucky enough to be on the field, I'll just do my part to you know, help us get a result, and if that's putting someone under their skin, then definitely I'll do it. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if he'll be interested in anything I've got to say.